Oh, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into it.
Just came back from the market. Ready to crash out. And this is $26. 26. Are y'all okay with this? Or is it just me?
No. Increasingly less people are okay with it because no one can afford food anymore. Like, I feel for this man because this is just like the Bachelor special, right? Some tuna fish, some bread, some milk, a little bit of salad. I mean, this is a man trying to eat healthy. That's what this is. But being healthy is unaffordable now. At least you got to give him credit though, because when we watch these videos, usually it's just people buying incredibly processed, frozen food that they shouldn't be buying anyway. But as the sole provider for our home, right, the one who makes sure that there's food on the table, I am constantly aware in the increase of cost when it comes to food, when it comes to everything. Because every dollar that we spend, in my mind, is associated with an amount of time that I put in, my labor, to have things paid for. That's why it's like, I don't like wasting money just so I can buy this trinket from Amazon. No, that's not something that I really enjoy doing. And like I said, I'm aware of these costs, but the entire country is getting like that. And cost of living in America has become such an insane thing that a lot of people are just going into debt getting the food. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because it's not coming down. And you're like, how can I keep up with this? Because that's the real question. How can we possibly keep up with these costs, as they keep increasing, as things get more and more expensive? And it's getting to the point where people just can't afford food. I mean, at the end of the month, we've seen at the end of the month, if you have like a $40,000, $50,000 a year job with expenses and everything, if you're a single person at the end of the month, you have more than likely around $200. And that has nothing to do with groceries. That's just your bills, what it takes to kind of maintain everything in your life. Now, when we're talking about food though, I mean, what are you supposed to do? All you're supposed to do in your life is have food and sit at home in front of Netflix? Because that's what it feels like. But like I said, it's getting to the point where people can't even afford the food anymore. I mean, this is just, I think we're all starting to understand that feeling of we're about to crash out. Because that's what it feels like. It's either we're about to crash out or people are going to stop buying stuff, but they're still going to be getting their products because one way or another people are going to eat. And you can make things as expensive as you want, but people are going to find a way.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but the high schoolers are out of school. The college kids are back. So if you're at the grocery store, they put them on the late shift and they be on their phones. You know what I'm saying? They be on their phones at the self-checkout.
I wasn't always a clean-cut, honorable guy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I was. Your boy's got a past, definitely. And Walmart used to be a big target of mine. Like I said, don't like Walmart. I don't know what it is. Since I was a kid, I've always just really disliked them. So yeah, when I wasn't as honorable a man as I am today, it was definitely a target for me and my friends. That's for sure. But I think it's going to become more common now. I mean, you already see places like Target that are doing away with a lot of the self-checkouts just because theft is running rampant. It's a consequence of things getting too expensive because there's things that people need and they're going to get them. And the easiest, most painless crime is to just take them and walk out the store with them, and let the store's insurance deal with it. Because as things get worse, you're going to see that kind of targeting is going to go beyond retail and it's going to go person to person. That's why I say, like, one of the biggest things that we don't really talk about when it comes to the increase, the spike of cost of living, right? All these price hikes, the tariffs, inflation, aliens, whatever it is, it's just eventually, right? It's going to cause a big spike in crime. Like I said, and you can say it's out of necessity, and you can say all you want that, but you just got to follow the law, But the thing is, when the system has made it so you really can't just live a basic life without committing crime. And then, I mean, it just puts people in the position where they have to choose between being an honorable, law-abiding citizen or feeding their children. And people are going to feed their children. So whether it's like government being inept or the government purposely trying to devalue the dollar and make things more expensive so we have less time to question things, less time to protest, less time to call for change, or if it's just corporate greed. I always say it's both. You know, listen, I hate the corporations. I'm a mom and pop store kind of guy. I think we need to go back to that. I think a rebirth of Main Street America is exactly what we need in this country. Really, it'll bring back culture. It'll bring back community. You really can't argue against that, because the dependency on the corporations, the dependency on these big stores and having everything imported in. No one has farms anymore. They're all owned by corporations. Nobody has little family farms. Farmers markets are an absolute joke. Farmers markets are incredibly expensive because it's just like boutique goods at this point. Like, listen, I'm not spending $12 for some soccer mom sourdough bread. That's not happening. What am I gonna do? Buy some cookies? I can make cookies. There's nothing about this is special. When you go to a farmer's market, you want good wholesale produce, right? Straight from the farmer, the lowest cost possible. But no, when you go to a farmer's market, what is it? It's more expensive. It's like 2 or 3 times the cost of getting your produce at Walmart. It's stupid. And it's always ran by some Karen or you know what? Maybe for another video. Farmers markets. Ugh. But no, like I said, there's a consequence to these things where people can't afford food anymore. And that time's gonna come pretty soon. Because as we all know, the cost of living has outpaced people's ability to actually earn. So, I mean, what's next? Like I said, are people just not gonna feed their kids? I would say, hey, you're having a hard time, maybe go get EBT. You know, maybe go get some food assistance, go to a food bank. But because of cuts to the USDA, none of the food that goes to the food banks are there anymore. So those are empty. Food assistance, EBT, food stamps, they're all getting cut. So it's like, well, what are people supposed to do? Basically, what are people supposed to do? Because like I said, desperate people who don't have a choice, you just need to grow your own food. Yeah, most people live in apartments. They don't live in houses. You know, what do you do? Go to a national park and plant something there? Hey, guess what? That's probably illegal too. What do? You just don't pay for things. You just take them. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying it's a natural consequence. I mean, like, all this ends with more crime. All this ends with more instability. All this ends with less community, right? More scarcity, more stress, more anxiety, more friction, more anger in our community, more anger in our country. And of course, it's going to be used to drive us further apart, because that's what it does. Because somehow, all these price increases, we're going to go ahead and blame on our neighbor. That doesn't make any sense at all. You know, the government can print money all day. They can throw crazy tariffs on cheap goods that people rely on. But at the same time, you'll look at your neighbor and be like, oh, it's their fault. It's their fault over there. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because, like I said, it's not supposed to make sense. People just want to be able to buy food. Like, I know it's wrong. Like, I know it's wrong because I'm old and I remember when things were affordable. I feel so bad for people who were born after the year 2000 who have only known expensive stuff. And especially now, imagine becoming 18 years old, right? You're getting out of high school and you're like, all right, I'm an adult now. I'm going to go do stuff. And then you're like, oh, wow, I need to make $120,000 just to live. Okay, well, I'm going to go to college and then, I should be able to get that job, right? No, most people who come out of college make $40,000, $50,000 a year, just like they did 10 years ago, right? You're not going to be able to do that. So the expectations of pull yourself up by their own bootstraps, it's done. It's done. Listen, that 5-finger discount has been there forever and it's never gone away. And it's only going to come back. And more people are going to start using it unless something changes, and we know it's not. If you're still here at this point, like and subscribe, leave a comment. We appreciate the support as always. Hey, think about becoming a member. We like money over here. Give us money, please. Tips are always good. I don't know, give us a shout out. Like I said, crazy times, crazy world. California is on fire right now. Military's over there cracking skulls. It's, I don't know, it's a strange time, but everyone's talking about it. And here we are, just trying to afford a tuna fish sandwich. Crazy times. You guys have a good one.